Welcome, everybody. This is week 6 of the 11-11 process. And I just want to congratulate everybody for making it this far. This is a self-exploration process. And sometimes when we have to be self-responsible, it can be really challenging to continue with the same attention, the same intention, the same commitment. So I just want to say, good job. We're gonna do some smudging, and I just wanted everybody to notice that today, Palo Santo wanted to be a part of the smudge. And I'm gonna use this wand that I made. This wand is made from owl feathers. It's an owl that came from me. And these feathers are on the breast, the under breast of the owl, you know, that part of the owl. And this wand, when I received guidance to make it, is really about love, and it's about perceptions. So when you look at this, it looks like, you know, there's this piece of wood that is like not straight, not smooth. However, it is so powerful and so beautiful. And this is a sari, silk sari, that came from India, and I decided to put it there. So really feel the softness of this smudge. Breathing in the Palo Santo, the rose, the copal, the heather. Really feeling like you can smell it. It's very soft. Above your head, coming down your third eye, your throat chakra, your heart, your belly, your sexual organs, going down your legs, all the way down to below your feet and your earth star chakra, coming back on the other side on your back, from your feet, up your legs, on your lower back. I'm going to spend time here on your sacrum. The lower back is such an important part of our bodies that helps us really, really feel support. In Chinese medicine, the kidneys are here, and kidneys have to do with fear, and the bladder, they both the color blue. So they like the lower part of the back. So really feel this part being cleansed, releasing any tightness, any smallness, any fears. Going higher part of your back, up the back of your neck, an important part of your body too. This is where the Akashic records are located. So cleansing the lower part of your neck behind your head, like your occipital area. And then higher to your crown chakra and your higher chakras, your causal chakra and your soul star and your stellar gateway chakras. So breathing in one more time and breathing out. And then coming back to the space. Welcome, welcome. It is cool today in California, but I still wanted to be outside and really share the light with you guys. So how was last week? direction of above and the heart. Anyone has any quick comment before we start talking about the new direction? How did it go? Or maybe you already forgot. It's like so far away, like last week. So it was a direction where you know, we really step into starting to open the heart. As we open the heart, we can receive more self-love and gratitude and compassion. And this is where we also receive higher guidance from our higher selves and multidimensional guidance. And so, yeah, it can be a lot. But as you know, what we're doing is exploring our magic, exploring the fact that, you know, we're bigger than our physical bodies, and just having a self-inquiry, like where are we in our processes. So today we're starting what is called the direction of the still point. It's the 8th direction. And when we started this process, I shared with you guys that I use all the things that I have learned, like shamanism, energy healing, Chinese medicine, human design, consciousness. And so I integrate everything. So you're not going to see, like, if you Google, you know, the directions, you're not going to have a 7th direction or an 8th direction. It's not there. I integrated it because I think it's important. And even the direction of the heart, or above or below, usually it's like, you know, earth, water, wind, fire. So just mentioning that so that when you start, you know, doing your research or things like that, you don't think, well, what is she talking about? There's no. And I think this helps a lot with integration of the things that we learn. So direction of the still point. This is where we bring together everything that we have explored and really start identifying with those things, really start opening up to the gifts that we have, and in a relaxed and compassionate way. I gave you guys homework. I know it was yesterday, but did anyone have a chance to explore? I asked to create a ritual. I asked you guys to own your magic and create a ritual for you. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you start creating your own rituals, you're taking your power to truly be responsible for your spirituality, for your growth, for how you want to express and live the spiritual part and energetic part of you. And you can create what works for you. So I gave you a few examples of what a ritual can be. And the other word I used, which is important, and it's a ritual of closing. And I use the word closing because in our world today, productivity, it is so emphasized. And, you know, we're doing this, we're doing that. Excuse me, on our computers, we can have so many tabs open, you know, and the brain works like a computer. It is a computer. And it's like having 20 tabs open on your computer at all times. And so you don't actually have enough space, random access memory to do more tasks. You're kind of like stuck doing all those things. And so when you do rituals of closing, it is like, okay, I have 56 tabs opened. And when you get done with a task or anything, I really invite you to take a moment to be like, thank you, or wow, I'm done, and close that tab energetically on your computer, spiritually, however. Because if not, you cannot even celebrate yourself, because it's like you're still on that old task. When you don't shut it off and close it, subconsciously, it's like you're still working on it. And I see so many people, especially spiritual people, who are always on. I want to do this. I did this, now I'm going here. And it's like, give yourself a break. And so Chris is saying that it totally makes sense. And she's never really considered this before. It's very important. And anybody who understands computer science, it's like you have this thing called RAM, random access memory. If you have something that comes up that you have to pull your resources, and you've had all these tabs open, you will get overwhelmed because you don't have it. So you need to start from today. Even if it's like you're eating breakfast, or you have a task that you gave yourself. We usually do that. Oh, I want to do this. I want to lose weight. And today, for example, you eat how you said you were going to eat. You need to close that at the end of the day and be like, wow, Marie, you were freaking awesome. You ate so well. Thank you. Wow, great job. Well done. Boom. You're done with that day. And you can celebrate. Maybe tomorrow you eat 5 burgers. It's tomorrow. And then at the end of the day, you're like, you know what, Marie, you had a tough day. You were so hungry, and well, you needed that burger, to feel good because you were kind of whatever. And then it's like, well done for really owning your feelings, owning the fact that you ate the burgers, and you end it. If not, you just keep the guilt, like, oh my God, I ate those burgers last week. Like, be done with it. It's done. So
it's like,
yes,
I just want to say that it's just like having the compassion and the loving for yourself, and acknowledging and rewarding yourself for the things that you've done.
yes,
And
closing.
Yeah.
Because many people have all that. A lot of spiritual people have compassion and gratitude, but they don't close, like, this is done. And usually what really helps the brain is just take like 2 or 3 breaths, like, like when you're really done and you feel like, wow, I did this. So that's what I want to invite you guys to do from now on, so you can really allow your brain and your heart to have what you need, the resources you need when you need them. Okay?
Can I just say something?
Yes, ma'am.
So I was going to just, share that for me, what I do is, like, every night before I actually go to sleep, I reflect back on the day.
Yes.
And acknowledge and recognize the areas that, I encounter. And, it's just like a closure. And then I also set the intention for the next day. So it, helps that way.
Yes. So I just want to bring your attention to the fact that that's not really what I'm talking about, because most people here do that. It's really having the intention that you are closing. You're done. It's not just yes, you did good, gratitude, acknowledging, reflecting, da 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 da. That's still an analysis. Like, how did my day go? How did I do? Da 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 da. That's an analysis.
No,
That's a contemplation. And I just want to make sure that you close. All that you're doing is great, but it's a very specific function of the brain. So
right, that's that's my closing for me. That's how I was saying for me. That's how I was just sharing how I close my day. It's just like at the end of starting and beginning, like a meditation.
I get that, but a meditation and that is actually not closing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's ending. Ending the day.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Because where I think you and I are clashing is that because when I
there's no
my
clash.
Kundalini yoga, when I do Kundalini yoga, we open and we close. So that's where I'm coming from. Whereas when I say
I get it.
Focusing on
I get it.
I thought I heard you say something differently.
I'm saying that, and this is important, I'm talking about consciousness and how the brain works. So you have what we traditionally call closing the day, which is actually ending your day. It could be, like you said, for you, meditation, reflection, setting the intention for the next day. All those things help you end the day. But closing means when you're doing something, you need to close that thing. So it's not about ending the day per se. It's when you have tasks that you give yourself. When you're done with them, you need to acknowledge that you're done and close it. Make sense? So it's actually not like ending your day with your practices or your rituals, starting your day with your practice. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking when you have a task and you're done with it, you need to close it so that your brain can take that computing power and either store it or put it somewhere. Do you understand
now? Yeah, no, I understood. I just think that, I believe that we're on the same page. It's just that I think our terminology is, wording is different, but I totally agree with you're saying.
Yeah, okay, good. As long as you understand where I'm coming from and that this is not about, I do Kundalini, so it's not about that. It's not about opening Ad Guru, it's not that, may the sun shine on you, whatever. It's not about really, I'm talking about the brain.
Right, because once you close it, you shut it down, and the transmuting does its thing.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
like I said, I get it. I know what you're talking about. It's just that I just used a different word than you did. So we're on the same page.
So as long as you understand what I'm talking about and you get it and you use it, it's going to be okay. But most of the times, if you don't do that, you're not using your computing power. And it's not about the rituals that you're talking about that everybody here does. We all, however. So we're going to close that one. You can listen again later and maybe, Chris, you wanted to say something? I thought I saw your hand go up.
You did. The first thing that I wondered was that you don't have to be done with your day to close out one of your activities, right? So if I don't go to bed till 3 a.m., I don't have to wait until that to actually close down something that I'm doing.
No.
The other thing is I guess that assumes then that we have set some intentions for that day, because I know for me, I'm guilty sometimes of wake up, feed the dogs, get online, get on Facebook, and it's I haven't even really set anything for goals or intentions for that day. And so for me, this is great because it's this probably does need to be a part of of my day, right? Like,
yeah. And just to clarify, this is not even about intentions and setting goals. It's like if you feed your dogs and you're done, just take 3 seconds to be like, you know, I'm done with this, and okay, I'm going to go to the next thing now. That's it. Because then your brain can stop. And then when you're on Facebook and you're doing whatever, if you said you're going to post 5 posts and maybe you post 3 and you can't do it anymore because you have to go feed the dogs, you can be like, I'm done. You know, this is done now. And, you know, you thank yourself for having done that. And you take maybe a couple deep breaths, or you close your eyes and you're just like, wow, I did it. And then, so even if you didn't do the 5 things you were going to do, because you close it, your brain is not waiting for you to come back and do the rest, you know, the 2 other things. Because when you're not doing those 2 things, if you haven't closed, subconsciously you're kind of guilty. It's like, oh my God, I didn't do these other 2 things, and I did, like, it's going on. But if you like, you know what, I did the 3 and I'm done, and you like, I'm done with this, I close this chapter, then you go and your brain can shut down and do something else. And then if you decide that, you know what, my lunch was only 10 minutes, and I'll have, you know, 40 minutes to do those other 2 things, it's a new thing, a new chapter. And then you do that. And then when you're done, you're done. So it's really it's not spiritual. This is like math, biology, consciousness. And because especially in America, productivity has become such a huge stress. But it's a stress that we don't know we have, because it's like happening every day. We're doing 5 things and we're trying to do them all, and we don't know why we're stressed, why we're tired. It's because all these things are going on. So you don't have to like have intentions and goals, because that's another task unless you want to. But so that's what I'm talking about. And then yeah, Chris is saying she likes the analogy of shutting down the open tabs. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's not even, you know, end of the day, you reflect. That's a different thing. So I think that I've talked a lot about this. And Leslie's like, no wonder I feel so depleted every day. Yes, it's very, it's really eating our society in America. Because we love to be productive, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just giving you tools that I have learned myself. I was actually working with 2 guys, Tom Chi, who's a friend of mine. He's a guy who invented Google Glass and the self-driving car, and Jim Quick, they call him super brain. Like, how can you really use your brain? And so those are like things that I paid thousands of dollars to learn how to like really maximize your brain computing powers. And as I was designing our 1111 process, it suddenly came to me like, wow, this is something I can share with everybody, because it's so important. Especially us spiritual people, we have high standards about ourselves. We have, you know, like self-realization goals, and it can be intense when you're spiritual. It can be, you know, you're living in this world, you're also trying to be good and being like compassionate. Like, it's intense. So when you can do this, you can give yourself room for your brain to take over and do other stuff. So I hope that it's more clear. So anyone, did you guys do any rituals? Anybody created a ritual? Did you have a chance yet?
I've made it a point to meditate every morning. And when I meditate in the morning, I now call in all of the guides and benevolent spirits, and I call in everything that I've been learning through this process with you.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to continue to do that.
Nice. Nice. That's beautiful. It helps to call the compassionate, benevolent spirits and guides and allies, and it just kind of feels like you have like your own team going with you as you go about the day. Okay, so I want to mention something really quick before we go into the meditation. You probably know that we've had a lot of eclipses, and the last one for a while happened on the new moon. And so from now until maybe like the first week of March, you have an open window to really set intentions that will really be like super powered by the cosmos, because there are no planets that are retrograde. Mercury is direct. All the planets are like on. So it's like we have a super engine rocket like that's ready to help you manifest your goals. This is a it's like a super duper giant new moon where you can really go deep in your intentions. So I invite all of you to, take the time when you can to first internalize the fact that this is a go time. This is like a go time until like the first week of March. Take the time to dream, like, what do I, really want? And do you guys have, anybody has, like, you have your journal? Do you have something? I'm going to just kind of give you a few ideas of spaces where sometimes we don't really think about them when we set goals. So grab your journals really quick. Getting more incense. Oh, a little bit of sun is coming. So just a little bit more smudge. It smells so good. Sheila, do you have a pen and paper?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. So, okay, looks like everybody's back. So one of the things I really invite you to do this week is create a new way of setting your goals or intentions, because what I have noticed with myself is that, and many people that I know, is that when we have something that either is bothering us or we really focus on, when we set our intentions, we tend to focus on that and forget other things. And the thing is, sometimes even when things are going good, it's like, are they at the top? Are they the full potential? Are they, really where you want to stop? So I just looked at different ways. And one of the things that I love is, just like I love the directions and creating 8 directions, I love astrology, division of houses and other things in our lives. So things that I have learned. And so I'm going to give you like the different houses, what they're for. And so you can think about, when you set your intentions and goals, you actually actively set an intention for every house. And that way, you know that you will not miss anything. So quickly, like the first house in astrology is about yourself. And we're not going to talk about astrology. I'm just giving you another way that will give you tools, so that when you're setting your goals, it's like, we all have money or love or whatever. But this can give you another perspective, and maybe it can inspire you, okay? So that's why I prepared that for all of us. So the first house is about yourself. And what I want to invite you to do is look at how are you different. With this process that we just did, there was a lot of healing happening. Or now that the eclipses are over, the eclipses usually shine light on spaces where we need to work on. Or so, like, are you different? Are you how you want to be in general? Not really like going deep. The second house is about your resources, your talents, your gifts, and like all the skills you have. And one of the things that's important in the second house is, this is where we also have limiting beliefs. So as you set your goals, you can, am I really using my resources or my talents, or do I want to use them, or how do I want to use them? Or that can give you, like, you can have an intention, like, it is now safe for me to be seen using my skills as a dancer, whatever it is that your skills are. It is now safe for me to release my limiting beliefs about, using my talents. Like, it's okay, it's safe to be seen, So you start broadening and really bringing yourself out as you set your intentions. It really, really helps me. And it doesn't have to actually be like, I want to make $1,000. It could just be, I want to feel good in my skin. Third house is about communication. It's about our perceptions. Like, how do we perceive? How do we communicate? What do we hear? Like, when somebody tells you something, are you present? Do you actually get it? And perspective. And the fourth house is about home. Are you in the home that you love? And I'm using the word home and not house, because sometimes, as we grow, it's like we might want a house with 4 bedrooms, but now we have maybe a studio with like just 1 room. However, how is that studio reflecting the kind of space you want to live in? If you cannot make a home in this studio, you're not going to handle a 4-bedroom house. So, like, do you have like books or flowers or water? Like, what makes you feel like you have a home? And then you go and do that. And the fifth house is about creativity. But I like to think about it as play. Like, do you allow yourself to play? This is one of the things that I was very serious as a kid, and like in medical school. I mean, and this is something I actively decided to include, play. And you can find how you play. It's also important. How do you play? Do you actually play? Because the more you play, the more you bring the spirit of wonder, and the more you can relax into creativity. And all the big ones, Einstein, Steve Jobs. Einstein is like, it's creativity. It's like when you let it play, you have all the solutions that you need without force. And the seventh house is about relationships, big one. But what I want to invite you to look at is your relationship with yourself. Because most of the times when we set our goals, it's like, relationship with friends, lovers, spouses, kids. But how about ourselves? Yeah. And the eighth house is about like power. It's about, so house 6 was about daily rituals. Thank you for reminding me. It's about your path of service. And Sheila was talking about her rituals of, opening the day like she does in Kundalini. She's transferring it in her own life, ending the day with like, how did I do today? And in this week, I'm inviting all of you to create rituals. That's your 6th house. Because as you start creating rituals, it's really going to open you up to start receiving, like, what is your path of service? It's different for everybody. House of relationship, we talked about that. 8th house is about, it's also about power. Like your relationship to power. And also the unconscious things happening, which this is where, you want to actually look at things like your debt, taxes, things like that. Like, are you a rebel, like a subconscious rebel? Are you, when you have your loans, how do you behave with them? How do you look at them? This is something that I was reading this book. I don't know if it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't remember which one. But the mindset of people who have a certain type of relationship with money and debt. Like debt is it's like good debt. Debt is an investment. Or how do you feel about that if you have any? Is it like, this is helping me get to this point, or is it like it's dragging you down? There's no good or bad. It's just you noticing how you are with it and what is the relationship you have with it. Like, are you in your power when it comes to all that? Or are you feeling like a victim? The 9th house is about like higher mind. It's about your belief systems. And, one intention could be like, I really want to be clear in my values. What are your values? What do you stand for? For me, it's like love, compassion, empowerment, wonder, creativity, nobility, sovereignty. So important for me that I am sovereign and people are sovereign. The 10th house is about career, like, but career is like everything. Yeah, your career at home, if you're a mother, at work, if you're self-employed, like what, it's not like, oh, I want this year to be, it's like, how are you showing up in your career? What is your relationship with that? What are you doing with it? Okay. It's about, relationship with authority. And the 11th house is something that I sometimes I forget. It's about community. And when I say sometimes I forget, it's because when we get busy, we forget to nurture our communities. This here is a community. Like our Facebook page is a community. This is where, you know, there are certain people who, like Sheila posts a lot, Chris posts, Leslie posts. Some people don't post, and it doesn't mean they don't think about it, but it's like, how do you nurture your communities wherever they are? And what do you want your communities to look like? How do you want your communities to be? It could be a goal when you set your goals. This is also where, you know, you think about the future, where, you know, you think about humanitarianism, like, you know, what do you volunteer? Do you give to charity? Do you any space where you can give of yourself, maybe collaboration, or, you know, things like that. And the 12th house is kind of a tricky one. This is where, you know, you have the intuition, you have like trust comes a lot on the 12th house. And I want to invite you to kind of see how, you know, do you really listen to your multidimensional guidance? I'm using our space and our words, not what a classic astrologer would tell you. Yeah, you understand that? So it's like, are you dissociating? Are you numbing yourself out? Or are you fully present? Okay? So those are, you know, a few other ideas I wanted to give you guys as you, you know, take this time before March, before the first week of March, to redesign your goals, to look at them for, you know, because you look this way, you look this way, you look this way. And then when you use everything you have, it can really help you design an amazing reality.
Marie, I didn't get 4 and 6.
6?
Number 4, the 4th house and the 6th house.
4th house was the 6th house. I think Chris had the same thing. The 6th house was about daily rituals. That's why I actually talked about you when I said you have your rituals from Kundalini that you bring into your life. Yeah.
Okay.
And then also the path of service. You know, as you create your rituals, you open up the path of service. The 4th house was about the home and the mothers.
Oh, okay. I put that back in first.
Yeah.
I thought you was putting that in first. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, great. Perfect. Anybody else has a question? So we are going to go into a integration meditation to call in our higher selves to help us truly design the reality that we want in a relaxed way. I think that if we use what I just talked about, we're not going to be stressed. I used to be stressed when I did my goals and intentions, you know, at the beginning of the year. It was like a whole thing, and that's not a good energy. So if you make it just like an inquiry, like, oh, how do I want to show up in my, you know, relationship to power? Like, you know, am I a rebel? Am I, like, who's running the show when it comes to power? Is it my rebel self or is it my empowered self? Rebels are great, but you just have to know that that's who's running the show. Yeah? Okay. Let me see. I'm going to stop the recording and then start another one we're going to have like 10 minutes integration meditation. Okay.